This video is a video describing the graph picture project for pre-calculus. This is part one. Part two you will be able to access after you enter what I'm about ready to show you. So the idea here is to create a picture out of the various graphs that we have. And specifically what we need to do is we need two of each conic section. So there's 4 conic sections: circles, ellipsoids, hyperbolas, and parabolas. So you need 2 of each, that's 8. You need 2 growth or decay, you need a log graph, you need 3 trig waves, and you need 4 of the following. You need absolute value, square root, Johnny T cubed, x squared, that kind of fills in with a conic section because that's a parabola also, but you can write it in a different form. Cube root of x is a sideways Johnny T, a line, a polynomial that gets jiggy, any of those types of graphs that we've done. And again, your idea is to try to draw some type of rough sketch here and just make a picture, and it could be any type of picture. I'll of course make a fishing picture here just to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. So I'm gonna draw some type of picture. I'm gonna start a wave here because it's a fishing wave. So actually I'm gonna start up here at 20. And I know my wave happens every 2 pi, which is about 6.23. And then about half of that is about 3.14. So I have this wave here that looks like this. And I can kind of continue that wave. And I don't have to have it perfect, but I'm gonna get approximately what this wave is going to look like. I could do every 3.14 and get a perfect idea of what the wave, but I'm just doing a rough sketch. So this wave right here is the sine wave that got shifted up. So I need to write that equation. Y equals, well, it's sine x, and then I shifted it up 20 units, so plus 20. But the kicker is I don't want the whole wave, I only want a part of the wave. And what I would like the wave to do is I would like to start the wave at an x value of 0 and end the wave at an x value of, well, on my scale, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. And I set my picture up just so I would deal with the positive quadrant just because it's easier. You definitely don't have to center it like this. You could have the origin up here and you could draw your graph all over. I think the positive first quadrant is the easiest one. So this restriction right here sends my wave anyway from 0 to what about 37. And that will handle that wave. And then maybe it's a rough C, so maybe I'm gonna put another wave in here that kind of goes the same. So I have a secondary wave that kind of looks like this, and this secondary wave is gonna go maybe like this, and I'm adding this on just because maybe my C's are a little bit rough here, and it would look something like that. Well, I started up here at 1, 0, that's the cosine wave. So I'll put y equals cosine of x, and the midline is 20. I still shifted it up 20, so I'm gonna put plus 20, and that still goes from 0 to 37 x values. And then maybe I have a boat over here. I'm gonna put a boat on my wave. So I'm gonna put my boat about like that. There's the bottom of the boat. Maybe it doesn't quite hit there, but I'm gonna put the vertex of the boat here at, it looks like 1921. So there's my vertex. My vertex is here at 19, 21. And that parabolic part, well, I could make that into a conic section. So I'm gonna do the parabola conic section. So that conic section would be, well, that's a x squared one. So x minus the h value squared would be 19 squared equals, I don't know. Let's put our focus up here. We'll put it kind of up here, I think. So that p value is 2. I like that. See what, and when I graph it, it might take a little bit different shape, but I'll put a p value of 2. So this is 4p, so that's 8. And then, well, if the p-value is 2, plus or minus 2p, on each side would put the parabola out there. I think that's going to work pretty well. So that width right there should work pretty well. And now I want 8, and now I'm going to do y minus my k value, and my k value here would be the 21. So that should handle it, but I don't want this to go up forever. I want it to stop here. So what I do is I restrict that, and I want to restrict it. Now I'm going to actually restrict this one up and down, and you can do that. You can restrict up and down on these things. You can restrict left or right. I could say x is greater than this 15 value and less than this 23 value, but I'm going to say my x value, or my y value now, my y value is going to be greater than or equal to 21, and it's going to be less than or equal to, and the equal to really isn't that important, but it's going to be less than or equal to 23. And that restriction will restrict the graph down to just this part of the parabola. And then, okay, I want a line, so I'm going to draw a line here for the top of the boat. That line is lazy, so that line is y equals 23, and I want the x values for this y equals 23 to go from 15. So I have 15, I have my x values greater than or equal to 15, and it's less than or equal to, looks like 23, 23, and I have that, so I've restricted that line. And maybe I put a vertical line here, and I could write the equation of that, and then maybe, maybe after that vertical line, I would have to write the equation of that. Maybe I have this weird, funky, hyperbolic sail that kind of comes in, and it goes like this right there. And then maybe I have a top of the sail right there. So this hyperbola could be the equation. Well, they're left to right. So that would be an x minus my h value. My h value would be right here at 1925. 19 comma 25, and then that 1925, well, x minus the 19 squared minus y minus the 25 squared equals 1, and my x value is here at, I don't know, well, under the x, that's 2 to the vertice. So 2 to the vertice means that it's going to be a 4 underneath there, and 1 up, so it's going to be a 1, so that would generate that. But again, I don't want the whole thing. It looks like I want a y value from 23 to 25. So for that one, I would restrict it from 23 to a y value of 25. And I could keep going on in this format, and this is the first part of this assignment. Maybe down here I have an absolute value graph that I could draw here, something like that. And then, I had this log graph down here, or growth graph. I have a growth graph that goes like this, and I could figure out the equation of that growth graph. And maybe I have a decay graph that comes like this, and there's my decay graph. And then I have a line that comes like this, and then I could have a circle right there, a circle with a graph, and I got this, all of a sudden I got this fish up here. And then I got these sets of tangent waves for the seaweed that works down there. And I could very easily get all of those pieces in to that graph. And your first part of this assignment is you're going to draw your graph by hand. You're going to restrict your graphs down, like again, this absolute value graph, I'd only want it to go from an x value of 11, or well, a y value of 11 to a y value of 16. You need the equation that you're going to set up for your picture, and then you need the restrictions, because you don't want the whole thing. You don't want this absolute value to go on forever. You want it to stop. So what you want to do is you want to write that restriction up there so it stops. And the first thing you do is you do your picture, you make sure all of those are checked off. After you do that, you submit a picture of it online. All right, good luck, have fun.